everyone, and welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to make a quick UI for our coins to show how many we've collected. But first I want to do a little bit of maintenance. As you may or may not have noticed, right now our script says anytime we touch the ground, it's going to renew our jumps, which is good, except if you touch the bottom, you get essentially infinite jumps, which is not something we want. So we're going to go ahead and fix that really quick. So the first thing I want to do is go into our player prefabs. And inside here, right now we have one box collider. I'm going to add one more box collider 2D. And it's going to show both of our box colliders. Maybe. There we go. When I open it, it's going to show both of our box colliders. The new one we're going to deal with is going to be the bigger one because we shrank this other one. But if you can't remember which is which, if you click this here to turn it on and off, you can see which one you're dealing with. And so we want to turn this into a trigger. And then we're going to click Edit. And I'm going to drag this in very far. In the top, I'm going to drag all up. And the top, I'm going to drag all the way down to here. Make sure the bottom is sticking out a little bit. Remember, this is a trigger, so it's not actually going to collide with things. It's just going to tell when it touches. It's important that our trigger here is below this, so it can actually touch the ground. And then I'm going to back out of here. Click Control and S to save. And we're going to go into our script. We need to change two things. So the first thing we need to change is our player movement script. Right now it's void on collision enter 2D, but remember we just changed our checker to a trigger. So I'm going to hit Control C and paste it into our on trigger. And then I can just delete this whole thing right here, the whole void on collision enter 2D. And now it's going to check for that small trigger box instead of our bigger box. There is one thing that we have to deal with now, but that is that our coin is now we're going to collect two coins because there's two triggers touching each other. So we need to fix that. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to make private. Remember, we're using private variables when we can. We're going to say private bool, which is a true or false value, collected. So what's normally going to happen is because we're not destroying this right away, both triggers are going to touch each other and it's going to give you two coins. It's going to run this code twice. But we can fix that by adding private bool collected. This is a true or false value. By default, it's false. If you want to declare it in void awake or void start as false, you can, but it's not actually necessary. So on our trigger to enter trigger 2D, we're going to say if other.gameObject compare tag ampersand ampersand not collected. This exclamation point here means not collected. So if I put not script target, it'll be anything but the script target. If I put not collected, it's going to mean false in the case of a Boolean. And then inside of this, we're going to put collected equals true. And basically, what we just did is we said if we touch it and this coin hasn't been collected, touch it and it will be collected. So it's only going to run the code one time from this point on, and that will fix both of our issues there. Now, moving on, we're going to make a quick UI for our coins. So the first thing I want to do is, let's see here. Do I want to put it in the player, or do I want to put it in, where's my camera? Let's go ahead and we're going to put this inside of our main camera. Where's our main camera? There it is. So we're going to put this inside of our main camera. So what I want to do is the first thing I'm going to go to our art, and I'm going to grab a coin. I'm going to drag it into our main camera. And let's go ahead and put it wherever you'd like it. Do you want it in the center? Do you want it in the top left? I'm going to put mine in the top left, but you can put it anywhere you'd like. And go ahead and make this order and layer 1000. We want it to appear above everything else, and let's turn it into a gold coin, like our other coins. There we go. If you want to be exact, you can click on your coin prefab and copy this hexadecimal and put it into here, and it'll be the exact same color. In fact, I'll do that real quick. Let's see, FBFF00. We notice small details even when we don't notice we're noticing them, so it might be a better thing to usually do this. And then I'm going to go ahead and right click and I'm going to go to create empty. We're going to name this coin text. By putting it in the main camera, it's going to move everywhere the main camera does. So it's going to stay in that position wherever we are. So this is a nice trick for UI. Unity has its whole UI canvas system, which we're not going to be going over. You might want to look at it later on, but actually, for a lot of my games, I like to use this type of UI. So on our coin text, I'm going to go to add, and I'm going to add a text mesh. And in the text mesh, I'm going to go ahead and put, let's put X88. It's good to put the biggest possible thing that will appear in your text in the beginning, and 8 is usually the biggest number, just so you know it's not going to go too much. And then for the font style, for the font, I'm going to choose, remember we were using the 8-bit, so I'm going to choose that. For character size, I'm going to put 0.05. If you remember, we want small character size, big font size. I'm just going to gradually drag this up so it looks good. I think right there looks okay. Yes, that looks quite good to me. And what we're going to do is hit Control and S to save. Then we're going to go into our player movement script, I believe. Sorry, we're going to go into our coin script. And we're going to add a little bit of code. So if we're collecting it, we're going to add the coins here, and we're going to say GameObject.find coin text, I believe is what we called it. Let me make sure. Coin text, no underscore. Okay, coin text, no underscore. Dot get component text mesh dot text equals, and then we're going to say, we're going to copy this and say it's equal to that. Now you're going to get an error that's saying it cannot implicitly convert from int to string. So it's saying, hey buddy, this is a number. We can't use a number as a word. But you can, there's two ways. You can do dot to string, and that'll convert a number to a string. Or I want to have that little x there. So I'm going to say equals x plus this. And if you have another string variable inside this, it will convert it for you. So we don't need this to string. But write down that to string code because it's useful when you're not using anything else. So every time we collect a coin, the coin text's text will become equal to x plus the number of coins you have. So if I hit Control and S, I go back into our game. It loads, maybe. Okay. First thing I want to do real quick on this coin text, I want to go to here and I'm going to put x0 now, because that's going to be its first value. Remember, it's only going to update this whenever we collect a coin. There you go. Times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4. And a quick tip is that we need this to be visible at all times. So I think I'm going to change it to a different color that doesn't appear so often. Maybe a red. Let's see how red looks. Yeah, that contrasts. Oh, I died. That contrasts pretty well with the backgrounds. You can try red or maybe even I don't know how black will work, but black seems to work okay too. Make sure your UI doesn't clash too much with your background, or rather maybe I should say make sure it does clash so it doesn't blend into the background. Now with that, we need to do something slightly different. I usually don't make my main camera a prefab, but in this case I'm going to do it. I'm going to drag it into prefabs. And then I'm going to hit Control and S to save. I'm going to go to my other scene, my other level, and I'm going to look for the main camera, and I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to go to my prefabs, and I'm going to drag in. Where'd this main camera go? Here it is. I'm going to drag in this. I'm going to drag this main camera in. And we should be good to go again. This error here, if you get something like 670 errors, 999 errors, it's because it's running every frame. And the reason is we have to reset our player, his target. Where is it? Sorry, we have to reset our target of our camera. Scene. This will be our player. There we go. Now everything works just fine. Okay, so now we have a little bit of UI. You could also, if you wanted, do the same thing up here and add another text message and say level 1, sorry, text mesh, and say level 1, or you could make something where it says the time, whatever you'd like to have in the UI. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.